Just ahead on CTV News.
The man charged for the murder of a young county woman that went missing last month appeared before a judge for the first time today. I'm Katara Jones in Upper Marlboro. I have everything you need to know coming up on CTV News.
Plus, we're upstairs in the kitchen shucking oysters. And the Commanders start the season off with a W. Those stories and more tonight on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for September 8th. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, a Bowie man who is in the country illegally and faces murder charges for the death of a young woman made his first court appearance this afternoon. That man is Hugo Hernandez-Mendez.
His case involves the murder of Dakara Thompson. CTV's Katara Jones was inside the courtroom where Hernandez-Mendez appeared virtually in court from jail. Katara?
That's right, the bond hearing for Hugo Hernandez-Mendez. The man charged for the murder of 19-year-old Dakara Thompson went fairly quickly today. The Judge Katina Stewart, ordered that Hernandez-Mendez to remain in jail on a no bond status. In the courtroom today was the family of Dakara, including her mother. Many of Dakara's loved ones were wearing Justice for Dakara shirts. Now, the disappearance and murder of Dakara has attracted a lot of attention. I think it's important to talk a little bit about how we got here. First, Dakara left her father's home in Lanham to go and get gas on August 22nd. Her father reported her missing the next day. On August 24th, Dakara's family tracked her car near the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road. Her purse was inside, but her cell phone was gone. On August 31st, Maryland State Police responded to Maryland Route 50 between Maryland Route 424 and Maryland Route 97 in Anne Arundel County for a report of a disabled vehicle. Troopers found a dead body on the river embankment. We now know that that body is of Dakara Thompson. Court documents reveal that she was found naked by troopers and her body was in a, quote, state of decomposition. Court documents revealed some other key points, such as police say video surveillance shows Dakara getting inside of a black GMC Yukon Denali on August 23rd, driven by Hernandez-Mendez. Court documents say that the truck then went to a home on the 12,000 block of Cambridge Drive in Bowie. We now know that is where Hugo Hernandez-Mendez lives. During a press conference last Friday, Prince George's police say they believe that Dakara was murdered allegedly by Hernandez-Mendez inside a bedroom in that home. Now, following today's bond hearing, State's Attorney Tara Jackson spoke to reporters. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Our office, again, has to thoroughly review not only the charges that were lodged against the defendant, but the evidence that the police have collected in this case and continue to investigate where necessary, along with all of our law enforcement partners. And we'll make a determination in short order as to the appropriateness of any charges and what those charges will be. And then we would present to the grand jury for indictment.
She had just completed a year-long internship in which she was very successful. She did a great job. She was a kind of an outgoing, soft-spoken, kind young lady.
Hugo Hernandez-Mendez will be back in court on October 8th for a preliminary hearing. He faces first and second degree murder for the death of 19-year-old Dakara Thompson. Reporting in Upper Marlboro, Katara Jones, CTV News.
All right, Katara, thanks so much for that report. Now, Carmen Thompson, Dakara Thompson's mother, asked the public not to believe the negative comments that have been posted on social media regarding her daughter's character.
And Kilmore Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador, could get deported again, this time to an African country. Reports show that the Trump administration wants to deport Garcia to Eswatini, a country in South Africa. Garcia was notified of his potential removal from the United States through an email by a top ICE official. He is currently in ICE custody in Virginia and has applied to receive asylum in the U.S. However, the Trump administration is against him getting asylum, claiming he is a member of the notorious MS-13 gang, which he has denied.
And authorities say they found the body of a Prince George's County man who had been reported missing. The St. Pleasant Police Department reportedly found 32-year-old Dakari Jehudai's body in a lake in Lake Arbor, Maryland. He was reported missing back on August 17th and was last seen in St. Pleasant. We spoke with Councilmember Walla Blagay on her plans to work with local officials on missing persons cases.
This is a loss to the community. There hasn't been as much public discussion about him or his story. So I will be trying to reach out to the family and really try to get the story out of who he was. We're just in the midst of the time where there is a lot of missing. There's been a lot of missing youth. We are trying to get the word out more and more, Amber Alerts, put it out there. So we're telling people we're going to diligently look for your missing family members and whatever resources that we can use with the county.
And officials say foul play is currently not suspected and no suspects are being sought. The investigation is ongoing.
And Prince George's Fire and EMS tackled a brutal house fire in Camp Springs Friday night. This was the scene at the 6800 block of Cherryfield Road. First responders arrived shortly before 11:30 p.m. and saw flames coming out of the garage, attic, and second floor of the two-story home. No injuries have been reported at this time, but the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And living with intention, vision, and empowerment, that's what Project Live is all about. The program, created with a $750,000 grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, was awarded to the ARC here in Prince George's County. It offers free mental health services to youth and young adults ages 16 to 25 who have an intellectual or developmental disability. Organizers say they're working hard to break the stigma around mental health, especially in Black and Brown communities, by reaching out directly to families.
Our leadership here at the ARC recognized that this could be beneficial for families. A lot of the times, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, their behaviors are seen as just related to their disability and not, stemming from something else.
This is a program that I know Joshua needed to help him to deal with coping skills, to help him to deal with everyday life.
And if you live in Prince George's County, meet the age and eligibility requirements, you can visit the arcofpg.org or call 240-828-8058.
And President Trump promised to shut down the Department of Education, but the reality is proving much tougher. On the campaign trail, Trump vowed to eliminate the agency and even signed an executive order this spring directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to shrink its size. The Supreme Court has cleared the way for mass layoffs, but only Congress can officially abolish the 45-year-old department. Bills from Republicans to shutter the agency have stalled in both chambers, with the Senate lacking the 60 votes needed to move forward. For now, the Department of Education remains in place, with Congress holding the final say on whether it survives.
Well, just 3 agencies account for more than half of federal workforce cuts under the Trump administration. New data from the nonprofit Partnership for Public Service show Defense, Treasury, and Agriculture have lost a combined 106,000 employees so far this year, with Defense seeing the biggest drop. The partnership says the scale and speed of these departures could affect day-to-day operations and is offering support to workers caught up in the cuts.
And according to the latest jobs report, Black women saw the biggest jump in unemployment last month, with up to 7.5%. That's a steep climb from 5.4% back in January. Much of the increase is tied to cuts in the federal workforce, especially at agencies like the Department of Education, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the USAID, where many Black women are unemployed. And the overall jobless rate went up slightly to 4.3%, but the impact has been evenly felt. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, community pride was on full display at the Downtown Largo Festival this weekend.
We hear from county leaders who are attending these events when we return.
Come on, move. Of course, there aren't any spots. A few minutes won't hurt anybody. Thanks, Grandma.
Paralyzed Veterans of America works tirelessly every day to create a more accessible America. Let's leave the accessible spaces to the people who actually need them. Whatever the reason, excuses don't excuse. Join PVA and be part of the solution. Honor the spot.
Hi, I'm Elijah. In the summer, I like playing basketball on the trampoline. When I'm hungry, it affects me. Like if I'm trying to read, I'll go to sleep, or if I'm trying to do something around class, I'll get distracted. When I grow up, I want to be a robotic engineer. I want to build robots that can help around the house. Helping people makes me feel proud of myself.
Governor Wes Moore is protecting access to vaccines for all Marylanders. Moore said in a statement, quote, "The federal government's rapid changes and unnecessary swirl around vaccine policy is harmful for Marylanders and all Americans and could result in disastrous public health outcomes." So the governor is reassuring all Marylanders that they can continue to access vaccines at provider offices and pharmacies across the state. He also recommends residents to speak to their healthcare provider about what vaccines are best for them and their families.
And Maryland could lose nearly $190 million over the next 2 years. This is because of the changes in the new federal tax law. The state's comptroller says the impact comes from automatic decoupling. That means Maryland won't follow some of the federal tax breaks for businesses unless lawmakers take action. We're talking about things like bonus depreciation and research write-offs. If nothing changes, the state's general fund would take a hit, $118 million next year and another $71 million the year after. And a Hyattsville man pled guilty to leading a fraud scheme. The scheme impersonated dozens of doctors to illegally prescribe narcotics. 25-year-old Benjamin Washington entered a guilty plea on Friday to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 1 count of aggravated identity theft, and 1 count of conspiracy to distribute controlled substances. According to the plea agreement, Washington and co-conspirators ran this scheme between September 2020 to May of 2023. His sentencing hearing is scheduled for January 13th.
The county has joined in a partnership with CIS to improve water quality, tackle flooding, and bring investment directly into underserved neighborhoods. The Clean Water Partnership is set up to not only benefit the environment, but also the county's economic development, as it teaches business owners how to effectively prepare for a green future.
The environmental resiliency side is great, but we also do mentor-protege with companies that are in the county. We help them to develop themselves such that they can become part of the program. 51% of the man hours have to be performed by Prince George's County residents. And we have to meet a criteria of 50% or more of the money spent has to be spent with small and diverse businesses. So that's an economic development part of the program that's very important. It helps to enrich the county and bring money back in the county, keep money in the county.
Meanwhile, according to recent reports, local nonprofits say the federal government's pause on the combined federal campaign is creating new uncertainty. The combined federal campaign, known as the CFC, lets federal employees donate to thousands of charities through payroll deductions. Groups like St. Vincent de Paul of Baltimore say the pause isn't catastrophic for them, but it could hit smaller, volunteer-run organizations much harder.
And the University of Maryland plans to track hazing. According to the Diamondback, UMD will begin including hazing incidents in its annual security reports in 2026. The new stance by UMD comes after the Stop Campus Hazing Act was signed into law back in 2024. The law requires that colleges and universities that receive federal aid must record hazing incidents in its security reports. Campus officials also announced the creation of the university's new Hazing Prevention at Maryland website. Through the site, students can report hazing instances.
Well, this weekend, the Downtown Largo Festival took place. The festival was a flagship celebration of Prince George's County culture, sustainability, and community pride. The day featured games, live performances, food vendors, and more. We caught up with vendors and county leaders attending the event who spoke on upcoming plans for the area.
This type of event really brings the community together and showcases the talent, the support, the unity of the community. It really helps people just realize how amazing their community is, and to celebrate it in this way, I think it's very special.
For me, it's just a celebration of everything that we've accomplished as beautiful Black folks, as well as the thriving businesses, as well as just fellowship amongst our people. And so I'm new to the community, and I just came out just to be a part of this because I truly enjoy the vibe of this area and everything that we're doing, upward mobility, just for African Americans.
3, 2.
And so to come on CTV News, we have a special treat for you all, oysters lovers out there.
That's right. After the break, you can catch me in the kitchen with the Traveling Oyster Bar. You don't want to miss it.
You may have heard that the American Legion helps honor our fallen heroes.
Or that the American Legion helped write the GI Bill, enabling veterans to get a college education.
And yeah, you've heard us tell a good story or two.
But did you know that the American Legion does so much more for our veterans? From advocacy on Capitol Hill to serving others in our communities, the American Legion continues its tradition of strengthening America through service. Learn more about supporting veterans in your community by visiting legion.org.
Welcome back. I'm here in the kitchen, and today we're going to learn about oysters. So, Michaela, I hope you love them because we've got tons of them. I'm here with the owner of SS Shucking, Gardner Douglas. And Gardner, tell me a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so it's a traveling oyster bar where I cater oysters, basically. I cater the raw bar, so you don't have to worry about going to a raw bar restaurant. You can have a raw bar in your home.
Yeah, and you can prepare them in different ways, right? Show us a little bit of what we can do.
So with oysters, the good thing about oysters is, first of all, they're tasty and they're good for you. So far as tasting, they're good by themselves, but you can also put toppings on them. So with the toppings, I try to put something that I guess brings the flavor out instead of covers it up.
Yeah.
So the way I like it is raw. So you can taste the oyster, but you can also add a little bit to it.
Nice.
A lot of people like hot sauce, so I'm going to add some of this hot sauce to it.
Add the spice, yes. And then you said that they have lots of health benefits, right? I know they're rich in B12.
They're rich in B12s, rich in your omegas, magnesium. They're really good for your body, and it's like a protein shot. It's like a little vitamin shot. And just eat a bunch of them.
Okay, let me try it. My first time here. Here we go. Oh, I love that. It's salty, but super good. I love it.
Yeah.
And I know that you've served some great people now. You served the Obamas, right?
I served the Obamas for a birthday party.
Nice.
Chef reached out to me, said, we got to have you, Gardner, shucking these oysters for our special guest. So it was my pleasure really to do that.
Wow. And so what are some of your hopes for your business in the future?
Honestly, right now, I want to continue to serve oysters in the DMV area. I want to expand that. I'm going to Canada in a couple weeks. I hope to come back at least in the top 3 in the international shucking competition. So I just want to grow and be a blessing to others.
Yeah, and you've already won an award here this weekend, this past one.
I traveled to Ocean City, Maryland, and I got first place. So hopefully I can take that same skill set to Canada.
Hopes for the best for you.
Thank
Now,
you.
anything you want to just share with us about your love for oysters? Where did it come from?
My dad taught me. I'm from the Eastern Shore of Virginia. My dad taught me where, basically he told me to practice practice quality, not speed. So speed will come, but, just take your time.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Gardner. This has been a great time. And that's it for us up in the kitchen. Back to you, Michaela.
All right, Anaya, thanks so much. And if you would like more information about SS Shucking, you can visit their Instagram page, s.s.shucking. All right, well, if you're planning on heating up some frozen veggies for dinner tonight, you might want to double check some of that packaging. Why? Well, the brand Indico's has 2 packs of frozen peas and mixed vegetables that are being recalled due to risk of a listeria contamination. According to the FDA, the veggies were distributed in 6 states, including Maryland and Washington, D.C., between July 18th and August 4th. Now, no illnesses have been reported as of Thursday, and anyone who has bought the veggies should return them back to the store for a full refund. And if your flight gets canceled, don't expect cash back anytime soon. The Trump administration is scrapping a Biden-era proposal that would have forced airlines to compensate passengers for cancellations and long delays. The plan would have required airlines to pay stranded travelers between $200 and $775 plus meals and hotel stays, depending on how long they were delayed. The trade group representing United, Delta, and Southwest praised the move, calling the regulation unnecessary and burdensome. The Transportation Department says rolling back the proposal is in line with President Trump's broader effort to cut federal regulations. All right, don't move. Simon Buggs has our Monday sports page.
All right, everybody, hope you had a great weekend. Let's get into your Monday sports page. Now, it was Friday Night Lights this past weekend as the Bowie High School football team hosted Gwynn Park for their first game of the season. In the first quarter, Gwynn Park's defense began making plays almost immediately as his big hit by Christopher McCoy jarred the ball loose and defensive back Dante Archie recovered the fumble on Bowie's first offensive possession of the game. And this resulted in points for the Yellow Jackets as QB William Butler channeled his inner Lamar Jackson, running it in for a Gwynn Park touchdown to go up 7-0 on Bowie going into the second quarter. Now, despite the Bulldogs not scoring in the quarter, they still made some plays like this sack by Navon Joseph and David Hockman for a 10-yard loss. And this made Gwynn Park settle for a field goal to increase the lead to 10-0. Gwynn Park continued to dominate the game, scoring one more touchdown before halftime and finishing the game with a 34-0 victory over the Bulldogs. Meantime, over in Springdale, Flowers took the field against Eastern High School for their first game of the season. Now, the Jaguars were up 16-0 on the Ramblers through most of the second quarter. But as the quarter was coming to a close, this pass completion resulted in a big game for Flowers, as no one from Eastern could bring this Jaguar receiver down until he was in red zone territory. And after bobbling the snap and it seemed like the play was going nowhere, running back Cody Gardner picked the ball up and was able to beat Eastern's defenders to the end zone to punch one in for his team. And now the Jags were up 23-0 on the Ramblers going into halftime. Eastern's offense came alive late in the third quarter after this pass completion for a big gain to put the team in red zone territory. And soon after, Eastern's quarterback hiked the ball, rolled out to his right, and found Zion Hubbard in the corner of the end zone for a Ramblers touchdown. And the score was now 23-7 in favor of Flowers going into the fourth quarter. And that'll be the first and last time Eastern scored that night, as the Jaguars got their first win of the season, coming out on top 23-7. Switching gears to the NFL, the Washington Commanders took the field for their first game of the season yesterday against the New York Giants. And the Burgundy and Gold started the year off right as they took down the G-Men 21-6. The big storyline of the game was the team's defense, only giving up single-digit points while also doing a nice job of stopping the run and applying pressure to quarterback Russell Wilson. CTV Sports caught up with some players after the game where they gave their thoughts on the defense's performance.
You know, anytime you hold a team to 6 points is really dope. You know, this NFL is hard to stop teams, so, you know, they did a good job last year moving the ball, and we felt like we did better in the run game.
I mean, I think it's always good to think that, you know, leaving it with 6 points as a defense, you know. You know, there's plays out there we left on the field, but at the end of the day, man, it's always a win when leaving with 6.
We take pride in stopping the run around here for sure. That's our identity, and that's how we do. That's how we unlock everything that we want to do defensively. And I'm glad that we was able to come out and do that.
I felt like we, you know, came out. We wanted to set the tone for the year early. You know what I mean? And just huge shout out to the way the D-line played. They were up there firing off the ball, putting pressure on the quarterback, stopping the run game. And then in the back end, the back seven, you know, linebackers communicating at a high level. DBs, we all just play, you know, sound and fundamental. Of course, there's always going to be things to clean up. But I really like I like the film we put out there, and I think it's really good film for us to go back and correct going into this week. But, you know, short week, so just got to, you know, get back ready.
And finally, the Bowie State football team took down Shippensburg over the weekend to get their first dub of the season, 23-7. The Black and Gold will return to action next against Delaware State on Saturday. And that wraps up your Monday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. And Anaya, welcome back. I saw you, getting into the kitchen, getting
Lots
those
of fun.
Oysters. Yeah, so how were they?
Delicious, honestly. A little salty, but I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I've actually never had oysters before, so
Gotta try it.
Yeah, what kind of oysters were they again? Tell me.
I believe they had a seaside oyster, and then they had a sweeter version as well. The sweeter was what I liked for sure.
I think I would like them more cooked instead of raw.
Yeah, oyster Rockefeller for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's get a look at your 3-day weather forecast. Tonight we'll have clear skies and calm winds. So tomorrow it's going to be nice and sunny with a high of 76. And Wednesday will be partly sunny. It'll be 74 degrees with a low of 56. And Thursday it'll be sunny with a high of 81.
And for our community calendar, tomorrow afternoon, the Laurel branch of the County Library System will be holding an introduction to Medicare meeting. This program offers education and guidance about Medicare for individuals turning 65 and current beneficiaries. This event takes place from 6 to 7:30 p.m., but for more information, contact 301-776-6790.
And that's a wrap for CTV News for now. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
What does a life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. It looks like leading for all veterans, helping shape policies to make certain they get the benefits they've earned, and ensuring every veteran's voice is heard. It looks like advancing to meet today's veterans where they are, lifting them up, and strengthening the bond that unites us. It looks like rolling up our sleeves, serving those in need, and cleaning up our communities to make them better for everyone. Because a veteran's mission never truly ends, and neither does ours. The VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.